Hi, welcome to my Hibernate tutorial. Let's continue to do some more CRUD operations by means of Hibernate in the Eclipse. This is our previous one, which we have been using for, and we know what it does. If we run this program, it inserts these values into the database table worker, and finally it prints this message in the console. Let's run this and make sure. Well, it did. Well, this values has been inserted into the database table. Let's introduce one more property in the Hibernate configuration file. Show underscore SQL with the value true. Let's see what happens now. Let's insert one more row. And see, the insert statement has been printed in the console. So it prints the SQL query which has been used by the Hibernate inside to insert the data into the database table. So by means of this new property, we can do so. Let us try to update our database table. Let's create one more class for that. See what we are doing in here. We are getting the row information of the worker table by passing the identifier, the ID value. See, this is nothing but the ID 9871. So by passing this value, we are getting all the row information, name and salary. So we are getting all the row information by passing the identifier. So here we are getting the row information, and we are setting the name Rajesh. Previously we are having Ramu, and we are changing it into Rajesh. Let's do it. Here it executed the statement update statement, and it is trying to change the name. Let's make it sure. Well, the name has been changed to Rajesh. So this is how we can update the database table. See what we are doing in here. We are passing the ID identifier, and we are getting all the row information. If we try to change the ID, let us see what happens. We're getting an exception actually, and it says identifier of an instance of worker was altered from to 0. So we cannot change the identifier value. It is not suggested by the Hibernate. And one more thing we should notice here, we are keeping our database transaction or database operation within the transaction. See, we are begin the transaction here and we are committing the transaction here, and within this span we are doing our database operation. We are updating, right? So this is what we are doing in here. Session dot get transaction dot commit. So we can declare like this also. So within the transaction we are doing our database operation. If you see this get method, it is collecting the database tables row information, right? Similarly, we can use load method also in this case. Let us run and see what happens. See, updating is happening in here. Let us check the database. See, name has been changed for 9871. Name has been changed to Ramu. So load is doing something very similar like get method. Let's create one more class to look deep into the difference between this load and get method. So this is the program. We're going to test this. So by using this load method, we're going to collect the row information, and we are trying to print the name here. So immediately after load method, we are printing a statement, and after that we are printing the name. So let us see what happens. We're just getting the information from the database, right? We are just retrieving the information. So while retrieving the data from the database, we need not to have a transaction. See, we don't have any transaction here. Okay, let's run this. See, the name is Ramu for 981 identifier. See, here it's not doing anything, and it's printed this statement, and after that at this level, by means of the getter clause or getter method, the select statement has been executed by the Hibernate inside. Okay, let's run with get method. Even before this print statement, the select statement has been executed by the Hibernate inside. So at this level, by this get method, it is directly making, immediately it's making a database call to the database table and getting the information. And finally, it's printing the name. let us try to understand diagrammatically. So when we call the load method, Hibernate actually creates one proxy class which is a subclass of our poso class. So Hibernate creates one proxy class here, and initially it will be having only the identifier value, and remaining all the fields will be null initially. So after that we are calling the getter method. So at this level Hibernate is making a call to the database and collecting the row information, and it is storing the row information in the proxy class. We are just loading this information from the proxy class. So this is what is happening inside the Hibernate. Let's run one exceptional case. Currently we have 6 rows in the database table worker, and it's 76. Let us try to get the information of a row which is not existed in the database table. Let us see what happens. So we are getting a null pointer exception because this get method returns a null if you try to collect the information for a non-existing row or non-existing information from the database table. If it's not existed, and if you try to collect the information, it gives the null. Let's see what happens for the load method. We will get an exception, object not found exception. No row with the given identifier exists. See, it gives object not found exception. It is trying to get the object from the proxy class, and it could not be able to get it, so it is just throwing object not found exception for the load method. So this is what is happening in between the load and get method. Let's try to create one more class to understand the delete. See, we are trying to delete a database row which has this identifier. So for that we are having a delete method. We are calling the delete method session.delete method. Previously we used to call update method for updation, and for deletion we are calling the delete method. So let us see what happens. No row with the given identifier exists. 98716. For the load, right? (9876). Okay. Sorry. Well, delete statement has been executed by the Hibernate inside. Currently we are having 6 rows. See, 9875. So 9876 has been deleted successfully from the database table worker. Here one more thing we need to understand, we need to keep it in mind is we are making the use of load method if you use get method, what happens, it gets all the it makes immediately, it makes the database call and gets all the information, all the data from the database table. So by means of the load method, we're just it's not making any database call at this level, right? So to simply delete our record, we need not to have all the database information. So to avoid that, we are simply making the use of load method. So it's not making any database call at this level, right? So this is it is best to use this load method for deleting a record. So this is it. Thanks for watching. Thank you.